In this video lecture, I'll walk you through the download and installation of Visual Studio Integrated Development Environment, popularly known as IDE. Alright, in computer programming, we use Integrated Development Environment for writing our programs, and for C# programming, the best integrated development environment is Visual Studio by Microsoft, because C# is owned by Microsoft and the IDE is also developed by Microsoft. You can see that this is the best you can ever use. There are so many IDEs out there and internet that are free for use, but I will advise you to stick to Visual Studio. The reason is simply because anytime an update is made on C#, that update must also be flagged in Visual Studio. So there is no need taking you backwards in use of other IDEs. So you have to move forward and also meet up with the updates that are being made by Microsoft. So the best for you to use is Visual Studio, and I'm going to guide you on how to install Visual Studio on your own system. So for you to get to this page, go ahead and type in visualstudio.microsoft.com on your browser and hit enter. And it should bring you to this particular page right now. And as time goes on, I will also update this course to make sure that you're also working with the latest updates of Visual Studio available. Now, we have Visual Studio IDE down here, and we have Visual Studio Code. So Visual Studio IDE is a rich IDE that is very heavy. And Visual Studio Code is mainly for students who are doing this for practical purpose or for hobby or anything. Is lightweight and easy of installation, so it doesn't take much space on your system. Okay, so most people go with Visual Studio Code, but most time you ask me, I will tell you to go with Visual Studio IDE, despite the fact that it has a heavyweight data, okay? And if you want to run Visual Studio IDE on your system, you must make sure you have high internet connection, because it's up to 4 gig or 3 gig at least. Now, when you click on download for Windows, if you're running on Windows, and for people who are running on Mac, you also see that for Mac, okay? Because by default, the system will dictate if you're running on Mac or you are running this on Windows. You have Community, you have Professional, and you have Enterprise. So Enterprise is the last one, okay? But for beginners, I would advise you to go ahead and click on Community and kick off immediately. The difference between Professional and Community is that Professional has most data, okay? And for the community page, you can do virtually everything you were going to do on Professional, just little. I mean little that cannot even disturb you once you're on the community page. So go ahead and click on Community. And the another page where you can see this, in case in future you might, if you click on this, it will take you to this page. This is a Visual Studio page by Microsoft as well. So they made this separate for Visual Studio IDE, in case if you don't want to download that from this main page. You can go ahead and click on this page, that is visualstudio.microsoft.com/vs. Okay, /vs will take you to this page, alright? So it's just exactly the same thing. Whenever you hover over download Visual Studio, you can get Community, Professional, and Enterprise, and go ahead and click on Community. Okay, so I don't know and I cannot say why Microsoft created this separately. Maybe they just want to give this a separate page so I can be able to come down here and do that. But so far so good, there's nothing special with this special page. Now for the Visual Studio Code, they also give it another special page, and that is the code editing redefined. So to get this, can go ahead and click on code.visualstudio.com. So the reason why I make sure that I point out all this is because as a developer, I want you to know everything about C#. All the secrets will be reviewed to you so that you can move ahead, alright? So this does not require you to select Community, Professional, or Enterprise because it's just for beginners, okay, and also for professionals. But most professionals, you always adhere to the use of the Visual Studio IDE, okay? So for you, if you need this lightweight or you don't have enough internet connection and maybe you don't have enough data, please go ahead and download this for Windows. It's lightweight, it's just megabytes, it's not up to gig, and it also runs C# very well. Alright, go ahead and close this because you have this right there. Now, go ahead and download any one of these, but for people who are going to use Visual Studio Code, please, once you download Visual Studio Code, go ahead and click on .net.microsoft.com. This is the SDK framework that you use to support the Visual Studio Code. Without this, your system or the platform cannot be able to execute C# properly. In fact, it is not going to execute C#. I'm going to run you down on how to do this, okay? So go ahead and download the .NET framework. That is the SDK that you're going to use. This is for people who are going to download Visual Studio Code, but for people who are downloading Visual Studio IDE, everything is there for you, so there is no need going ahead to download this again. And once you download this Visual Studio IDE or Visual Studio Code and also this, but you are not going to download everything at the same time, please choose one of them. Just choose only one of them. And for students who are going to follow me, I'll go ahead and advise you to download Visual Studio IDE, and I will also walk you through this because I would be downloading them myself. But you are limited just to one, please. Just one. I will advise you to go with this. Alright, so once you've downloaded that, for people who downloaded Visual Studio IDE, you can see that this is the color it takes. Alright, so that is the trademark color that you have there. And for people who downloaded Visual Studio Code, this is the blue color for you. And for the Visual Studio, you can see I downloaded the community and not the professional. Please download the community. And for the SDK, the .NET framework I told you, please, this is it right there. So try to download that. It's going to work hand in hand. These two will be working hand in hand. But go ahead and double click on this if you have high internet connection. If you don't, please go ahead and double click on this. But I'm going to walk you through this because this doesn't have any problem. You can just double click on that and install, and double click on this and install. But for people who are going to install the community, please follow me step by step. And let's move ahead. Please double click on this. Let's get started right now. So once you double click on the Visual Studio IDE, it's going to ask you, do you want to allow this app to make changes to your device? Go ahead and click on yes. And it's going to take you to this page. And then you are required to select any of these boxes, okay? And each of these boxes you're selecting, it will also tell you the size. So for this joining for this course, go ahead and hit .NET Desktop Development. Just go ahead and select this, and you can see down here that the total install size is 3 gig. You can see that it's really very big, and it's going to download all this. So if you don't have up to 3 gig data, you go ahead and download Visual Studio Code and run and follow me step by step. But I will advise you to download. Go ahead and click on this. So both single developers can also go with this alone, and there is no problem, please. So download and go ahead and hit on install. So once it happens, go ahead and hit on install, and it will begin. And the installation takes place, and you consider starting operation, let's go ahead and download all of them. Consider that is the Visual Studio. And once it's finished, it goes on and kickstarts Visual Studio for you. And then it will land you to this very page. Alright, so this is the page, everything will land you, and this is where we're going to do anything we're going to do. Can go ahead and close this. Just click on this icon and it goes off, alright? And for also start a new project, go ahead and hit on File. And once you hit on File, it will pop up for you. So hit on File, go ahead and create a new project, which you're going to do later in the next course. Now for people who followed me and downloaded Visual Studio Code, once you finish installation and also installation of .NET, you're going to land here. Alright, so just installing .NET, you also land here, but go ahead and install that, because in the next lecture, I'll be showing you everything about Visual Studio Code. Okay, so if you are on Visual Studio Code, this is where you will be, and if you are on Visual Studio IDE, this is where you will land. So far so good. I think I walked you through to the end of this. Please go ahead and do that step by step, because in the next lecture, we'll write in a very fast code on each of these platforms, and then we'll go ahead and stick to one of these platforms, which is Microsoft Visual Studio, and that is what we're going to use to the end of this lecture. So far so good. Please put this down, try it for the step by step, and make sure you get to the end. And if you have any question, please use the question and answer section, and I'm going to get back to you as soon as possible. Thank you so much, and I'm going to see you in the next video lecture.